What if we told you that a single coffee shop in Seattle would change how the entire world drinks coffee? That your daily latte, the language of venti and grande, and the idea of a coffee house as a second home, all started with one bold vision. This is the story of Starbucks, from humble roots to global domination, from community vibe to corporate juggernaut. And somewhere along the way, the magic started to fade. Today on The Founding Room, we unpack the rise and fall of Starbucks, the company that brought cafe culture to the masses, but now faces a very different brew. It all began in 1971. Three friends, Jerry Baldwin, Zev Siegel, and Gordon Bowker, opened a little shop in Seattle's Pike Place Market. They didn't serve coffee drinks. Instead, they sold beans, high-quality roasted beans inspired by European tradition. But the spark that would ignite Starbucks came in 1982, when a marketing executive named Howard Schultz joined the team. On a trip to Milan, Schultz fell in love with Italy's coffee culture. The espresso bars, the baristas who knew your name, the sense of ritual. He had a vision: transform Starbucks from a bean cellar into a place for connection, for community, for culture. The founders weren't convinced. So Schultz left, launched his own cafe chain, and a few years later, he bought Starbucks. And just like that, the brew was changing. The 1990s? That was Starbucks' decade. Under Schultz, the company exploded. Stores popped up across the US and eventually the world. But Starbucks wasn't just a coffee stop. It became an experience, a cozy space, a daily habit, a status symbol. They turned ordering coffee into a ritual. Tall, grande, venti. Your name on the cup. The smell, the sound, the atmosphere. It was personal but predictable. People loved that. Starbucks capitalized on the third place idea. Not home, not work, but somewhere in between. They didn't just sell drinks. They sold belonging. And Wall Street noticed. Starbucks went public in 1992. Shares soared. By the early 2000s, there were over 10,000 locations worldwide. It was official. Starbucks wasn't just a brand. It was a movement. Starbucks became synonymous with success. Their stores were everywhere. Airports, universities, even inside bookstores. The green mermaid logo became an icon. The seasonal drinks? Cultural events. But what made Starbucks so powerful wasn't just marketing. It was consistency. Whether you were in Boston or Beijing, your caramel macchiato tasted the same. They pioneered ethical sourcing with their coffee and farmer equity practices, launched groundbreaking benefits for part-time employees, offered college tuition support, even free Spotify and stock options. Howard Schultz didn't just lead a company. He built a mission-driven empire, one that balanced profit with purpose, at least for a while. Because behind the scenes, cracks were beginning to form. Time for a quick trivia break. Did you know the Starbucks logo has a secret identity? The twin-tailed mermaid, or siren, has been with the brand since day one. But here's the twist. Her name is believed to be Melusine, a mythical sea creature from European folklore. She's never officially named in public, but Starbucks insiders use it internally. Mysterious, enchanting, and just a little bit magical, kind of like your favorite cup of coffee. And here's another one. Starbucks is on almost every corner. But did you know it's also in the sky? That's right. Starbucks serves coffee on Alaska Airlines flights. You can sip your Pike Place roast at 30,000 feet while cruising over the Rockies. Because for Starbucks, not even gravity gets in the way of a good brew. Now back to the story. As Starbucks grew, the soul started to slip. Stores became overcrowded. Lines grew longer. The personalized vibe gave way to efficiency. What once felt artisanal now felt industrial. In 2007, Schultz stepped down as CEO. In that same year, the Great Recession hit. Sales slumped. The stock dropped. Starbucks closed hundreds of stores and laid off thousands of employees. Critics said the brand had lost its way. Too corporate, too expensive, too generic. Competition brewed too. Indie coffee shops offered authenticity. Chains like Dunkin' and McDonald's leveled up their game. Even tech giants like Apple and Amazon became rivals, competing not in coffee, but in loyalty, convenience, and ecosystem. Starbucks wasn't failing, but it wasn't flying either. In 2008, Howard Schultz returned as CEO, and he got to work. He closed every store for a single day to retrain baristas on how to make the perfect espresso. It was a symbolic reset. Starbucks went back to its roots: quality, craft, and connection. Digital innovation also played a key role. Starbucks launched one of the first mobile ordering apps in the industry, pushed rewards programs, and reimagined stores for convenience and comfort. They expanded into China, where coffee culture was just taking off. And they leaned into community engagement, racial bias training, and sustainability pledges. The recovery wasn't instant, but it was intentional. Starbucks redefined itself, not as the scrappy disruptor, but as a legacy brand with a new purpose. The story of Starbucks is a shot of inspiration, with a bitter aftertaste. It reminds us how quickly a revolution can become routine, how a brand built on human warmth can lose its spark chasing scale, and how even giants must pause, reassess, and brew a new path forward. Starbucks hasn't fallen, but it's not untouchable. The next chapter depends on whether it can stay true to its essence while evolving for a new generation of drinkers. If you enjoyed this kind of story, consider subscribing to the Founding Room for more deep dives into how iconic companies got their start. Got a brand you're curious about? Leave a comment below and tell us which company you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.